Hey people, I was scanning past some channels this morning and I seen a program. It was titled Manna from Heaven, and I guess that's what made me think of this. Possibly not, I might have read it somewhere. So if you're Christian or Jewish, you might believe that God rained some type of bread from the heavens to the Israelis when they were in the desert 40 years. And some people see this as just an idiom that refers to an unexpected help or advantage. Manna, a hand from heaven. I need 5 hands and 5 Mexicans will get in the truck. Manna. But if you're a Torah scholar, you stick to the story. Oh, we don't know what it was. It was a fine flake-like thing that showed up in the morning with the dew. And it looked like a coriander seed. And here's a huge clue right here. The Israelites were instructed to eat only the manna they had gathered for each day, stored manna, bread, worms, and stank. And the rabbis here, they're thrilled that even the Quranic narrative's helping them out because they're having a hard time forcing words on this. And Wikipedia goes on about this. They even try to show us what frost looks like, making us think that you can eat frost off of desert sand. And the Christian vegetarians say God had originally intended that man would not eat meat. And manna is a non-meat substance. That's another big clue there. But if you go straight to the source, over here to the Hebrew Bible, at Exodus 16, in the 15th line, I believe this is the first time the word comes up. We click on it here. And it'll show us, 16, 15, the first time this word comes up. It comes up 3, 4, 5 times in this chapter. And then there's 3 more times in Numbers 11, 2 times in Deuteronomy, 2 in Joshua. It doesn't come up often, 14 times. And it'll show you the first time it comes up here. They say manna means what? What is it? We don't know what it is. That's what they say manna means. It's manna. It means we don't know what it is. But it plainly says what it is here. They just don't want to say it, You have to remember over here in Exodus 3, it says before you leave to borrow all your neighbors' silver and gold and dresses and put them on your sons. So the people that were evicted is your Hebrew word. Exodus, that's something they made up for the Greek, but the people that were kicked out, they were all freaks. And when lifted the layer of dew, and there was on the surface of the wilderness a small round substance, as fine as frost on the ground. So when saw the sons of Israel, and they said one to another, what is it? For not they did know what it was. And said most of them, that is, the bread which has given Yahweh you for food. But that's better read as, what'll suck of it a tell? What'll suck of it a tell? And so this has got multiple meanings, but, this is where your word succubus comes from. And so it's not just a layer of dew, but it's also an emission of sexual. It's the suck of it'll tell. The zeros, the seed. And it's a copulation, a seed of copulation, the suck of it. The emission, the sexual seminal fluid. And so it has dual meaning, When you're out there in the wilderness, if you get up early in the morning, what'll suck of it'll tell, you can see footprints in the dew. You can see which one of your soldiers been freaking up at night. And what'll suck of it'll tell. When all upon 'em dove her a dick, the small round substance, a dickum is pissed of. A pissed of cipher alerts, to tell off, alerts. The tell off on the ground, the cipher alerts, if you can read the footprints in the frost. Whereof been his rule? Who's in charge? His rule. where have been his rule? Why am, who says? And so we'll go read this with these A words backwards, being that we're not obeying this mark. And so that's why this yammer over here, it ends with a U. This and, it should say and, said, and, it's got an and on each side. But they do that so it'll change the next word. And why ammer, and you can read this as a US, WS was, and then the IA reads as the same thing, evolved, W. And then the L followed by the A here reads as the end. And was, when, and which, was, when, which. And yammer was, when, which. And has the say, and whereof been his rule, the one in charge, the king, has been his rule, who says was, when, which. What time, who, and where. Was, when, which, men, who, a key, who, here, and it looks like kill, but it's N-A. And who here, and who, a key, no hand of, from double E, they. From they wave, W-A-V, the wave yammer, to talk with your hands, and no hand, and la, and see no hand of they wave yammer, they're waving, talking, to calling you down from a C. M is from C, and then starts with A. It reads backwards. M-E-L, followed with A is N. From a seaman, and the A-E is E-S. Is, you, and then the A-E, again, issues. And from seaman, issues will come backwards again. Resent. Too much, blowing a big old load and choking the shit out of you, And from semen, issues will come resenting. You will come not low cal, but no calories. Thou shalt not cull. Don't be sucking them dicks. And so Israel is actually, depending on the letter following this, is making fun of Iran. Yeah, Israel is Iran. There was no such thing as Israel. And it'll show you what Israel is when you read this again with the other markings. But yeah, no, we ain't going to have no dick suckers out in the camp, or we're going to cut your hand off, and you be low, no hand of, they wave, a yammer. You ain't going to have no more hands to flag nobody down. But when you read this, following these marks here, you read the A words head on, and it changes up a meaning, and this is just the genius in the writers. And there's even more in this, in the word manna. This mark underneath here, it'll have you read this as an M, and then you come this way, the N, M, and then N again. And it becomes the menum, and then N-E-W, the menum new. What is it? The man you knew. It's semen. So I just noticed this the other day when I started replacing the L followed by the A as just not just knowing it means no, but reading it as an N, as a no. And what it does, it changes this, and whereof in narcissus, N-A-R-S-I-S, and the narcissus rule. Narcissus, he wore the crown of laurel, the crown of Lars, a.k.a. Nars. And he was such a big old faggot that he turned Echo down. She was a fine mountain nymph. I think she was like a part-time Jehovah's main squeeze. But he was already doomed to live a long life only if he never came to know himself. Boy, don't never whack your pud, you live a long time. And so it appears in this story, that Echo was keeping Juno occupied with gossip, while Jehovah had an affair behind her back. And so when Hera got word of this, she caused Echo to never have a voice again, to never speak, and could only be an echo of what somebody else would say. She will always be gossip. But she cursed Narcissus to always be in love with his reflection. And so what was his part of this? He must have had something to do with this love affair. So he was forever doomed to stare at his reflection in the water. And it seems like that's where Israel come from. This star of Israel is actually Narcissus staring at his reflection in the water. So if you remove the mirror image of it, it looks like this. And so that may be reading as a G and then an A and a G. Gog. So there's only one more line that was above that starts this paragraph. And I might as well read it and help make sure all that was correct. And I done took my teeth out. They were getting sore, so I'm going to try to get you some good pronunciations. And this is and let there be, yea, let there be a yes vote. I would like to see this right there, yea. And yea. But this is also why they, how they boring what all. So it was at that evening. In the evening, everybody just sitting out on the porch rocking, It's boring. And why they boring what all is love. And the second vav, reads I, Leviticus. What is Leviticus? And then backwards, the TAE is the DES. This much in of a fur. The second B reads as IFR, and she called his name a fur of what he was called, the days, the names of the mornings, and of a fur, the height, how tall a suck of it. The tells by Blamin, BLMHNE, Blamin, wide open, loud, everybody can see the footprints in the dew. The tells by Blamin. And so she called him Levi because I am now connected. That's having a child with a man. She now has a connection. Leviticus, the connection. And why they boring what all is Leviticus. Everybody who's hooked up, hitched up already, they're all boring in the evening, rocking in the chair. What all is Leviticus. And all the single people, they're out trying to hit a new one every night, And why is all boring what all is Leviticus. This much in of a fur, the height, to call the height a suck of it. And you can see that they got it lay now. In the suck of it, a tell is by blaming. I can see it gleaming, bright. I can see it a mile away. What all suck of it to tell, when all upon 'em over a dickum is pissed of the cipher alerts. Whereof been his rule, why Emmer was when a witch, a man, who a key know, who hear no hand of, from they wave a yammer, from semen issues, I'll come resentin', you'll come no clee, no attach, thou shalt not eat. But this Manna here, it comes up 14 times. 6 times, it's EMN, the man. 6 times just MN, man. And 1 time it's women ka, they'll say is yours. Your women, they'll start with that, your women. And the men, WEMN, and the men. So it's not always gay, sometimes it's the women to call them in act. Sometimes it's a woman sucking you off. So not everybody that got kicked out of Egypt was gay. A lot of them was bisexuals. So it seems back in the day of the Hebrew Bible, they were very prejudiced against blacks and queers. And you can see that in the Hebrew covenant with Noah, where it says he'll raise up a rainbow above. And see, that came out of the Greek. That didn't come out of the Hebrew. The Hebrew says a fist tight and white, It was white pride. And so it seems like later on, they found out they need to be more tolerant. And that was when the Greek Bible come along with the new rainbow was a sign of the covenant. And so I imagine everybody who didn't want to be so tolerant, they probably moved north, Nordic ways. And so a lot of your white Christians ended up over there in that area speaking the ancient language and keeping their prejudice. And while Rome was changing all the language around Europe to be more tolerant of their homosexual brothers, which had done taken over the church. So if anything I'm saying offends you, you're the problem. You're the reason why we had to change the language. And this is the story of it right here. When you're out in the desert for 40 years, it sounds like the faggots done found a way to get their protein. When you starve to death, those faggots are rocking over there. And I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.